Ramblers, it is time for pros and cons. And usually I ask one of the individuals here on the panel where we're going first, but I'm not going to do that this week. I'm going to be greedy, and I'm going to say we're starting with cons this week, friends.
All fun.
Let's do it.
Do it.
I'll go ahead and go back to where we was just at, the whole Alexa Bliss thing. Alexa Bliss thing with the stalker guy. I think that I want to tell myself that's why we did not get any kind of Alexa Bliss storyline on Raw this week. Because she's dealing with this stuff. I don't know if that's accurate or not. If not, then that's fucking stupid in itself, because you had all this momentum with that storyline and then you're just going to back off of it. And I'm still kind of upset about the whole Alexa Bliss getting thrown out of the Rumble in like 20 seconds by Rhea Ripley and nothing coming of that. But this creeper needs dealt with, if anything else, to get Alexa back on TV, because there's not a lot of entertaining stuff that goes on Monday Night Raw, and I really missed it this week. And honestly, I was very bummed out because I watched all of Raw, and I didn't start watching until about 9 o'clock, so I could fast forward through some commercials and some stuff I didn't like. Well, eventually I caught up, and I had to sit there and watch the whole show. And I watched all the way until the credits because I was like, oh, yeah, Alexa's going to do something here. This is going to be great. Alexa's going to cost Randy the match, or it's going to be great. And then you get fucking Sheamus. Get the hell out of here, Sheamus. Anyway, I can go on and on about that. Go ahead, guys.
I got to go with Shayna Baszler for one of my cons. I've always been a big Shayna Baszler fan, too. I think she's got a great style in the ring. I think she's believable. The way they booked her has been terrible. It's sad. It's pathetic to see what they've done with her. She was one of the most dominant, if not the most dominant female champion, along with Asuka, in NXT history. She had that belt for a long time. And then her run on the main roster has been pretty crappy.
Rewind a year ago where we're at now, because I remember me and my son went to the Elimination Chamber. She kicked everybody's ass in the chamber.
Destroyed them.
Destroyed them.
Yep. And then they have her lose to Becky Lynch, and it just goes after that, just kind of downhill for her. I don't know if they're not big on her anymore. I don't know if they think this is smart booking for her. Having her being the one to lose to Naomi last night, like, I like Naomi and some of the stuff that she does, but Shayna Baszler should be killing her. She's the
Naomi's
most probably
a badass. She butt busted Asuka last week, and then this week she beat.
Oh
Shayna
yeah, I know.
Baszler.
She's the big time now. She's taking out a real legit MMA fighter with her ass. I mean, I just I don't like what they've done with Shayna. And to be honest with you too, it looks like Shayna has dialed it in and just doesn't give a shit anymore. She's not the same person in the ring. It must be a really defeating thing for them when they're coming up with all these big, hopes of grandeur and everything, and they get nothing. And I don't know. I would work harder, but a lot of them just look defeated, and I think that's where it is with Shayna right now.
I understand. Tommy, what are you mad about?
Oh, Lord. For the 42nd week straight, we had Dominic Mysterio and Baron Corbin. And here, poor old Rey Mysterio fell down, couldn't get up, and I guess he hit his life alert necklace, and he got a bunch of zebras trying to help him up. So then you get this god-awful match, and then Rey's crawling underneath the ring. It's dumb. It's getting dumber.
I'm not going to tell you you're wrong, because you're not. It's almost as repetitive as the Sting Tony Schiavone bullshit.
Oh, yeah, and that's on my list, too.
I was about to say, I'll go ahead and throw it out before we get to Sonny, since I just mentioned it. I'll tell you how bad it's gotten. My son, who is 12 years old, he watches wrestling every now and again to humor old dad. He don't care about it. I got two sons. The other son, you guys seen him on the live show. He was on here. But my other son, he don't really care much about it. And a huge eye-opener for me was, we're sitting there watching Dynamite last week, and my son walks in and he says, "Oh, didn't this already happen?" I was like, "Fuck yeah, it's already happened like 6 times already."
Yep.
Anyway, Sonny, what's
It's so
pissing you
true.
off?
Honestly, and this might not be a popular opinion, but the whole
The
Shayna
whole
or Nia Jax.
the
Oh
whole is
my
over.
God. That's terrible. And I mean, it's kind of fitting for her that she's going to be saddled with that forever. But I mean, jeez.
That's
What?
That was one of my pros.
mine too, John. I'm with you, man. I was
That's so terrible.
The whole actually
Oh,
got
hey.
Nia Jax over for not botching and almost killing somebody. The whole literally made people. It was like this awful heel that just got turned massive babyface Hulk Hogan style type shit, man. The whole has made Nia Jax a fucking babyface. It could never do that before. She would have never got over. That's how good the whole is. It fucking got Nia Jax over. I love it. It's great.
I'm with you, man.
Oh,
Lord.
Sorry for my language,
Not me,
folks. I
man.
apologize out there.
That's all right, man. Sometimes you get riled up. It happens to me all the time. I really hate. Let's go to AEW Dynamite now for time. I really hate how they've been booking Santana and Ortiz. They were on top of the mountain for a while, and they're just an afterthought now. And I think that's a bunch of bullshit because they're great talents.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Another thing about the AEW show last week that I really disliked was the wedding segment. I expected it to be a lot more than what it was. It was probably one of the worst wedding gimmicks on wrestling I've ever seen.
At least they went through it, though. You know,
Yeah.
usually you have Teddy Long having a heart attack or something going on, you know. At least they did go through it. The aftermath.
Father James Mitchell.
Yeah.
He saved that segment for me. I mean, the last wedding he did, someone got shot at, right? So I was kind of expecting something, but there's nothing.
Nah,
There's no payoff.
maybe next time.
My hole.
My hole.
Yeah.
That reminds me. I'm gonna make a TikTok after we go off the air. It's gonna be the soundbite from Happy Gilmore when he's trying to get the ball to go to his home.
Why don't you just go in your goddamn hole?
Just go to your home. You're too good for your home.
Did you guys see the one where they mixed it together with the Bully Ray My Balls and then Sue Young My Vag? And then did you guys see that TikTok clip that came out?
I did not.
No.
All right, I'm gonna send it to you guys afterwards. They mix this together so perfectly, and it's got when Bully Ray got hit in the nuts when he was in Aces and Eights, and then it's got Sue Young when she was getting stretched in a hole, and it must have legitly hurt because she yells out my veg, and then they put Nia Jax in. I'll send it to you guys right after.
Yes, please do. That's great.
It's tremendous.
I seen this meme. It said something about, no, that food ain't that spicy, and 3 hours later, my hole.
Yep.
Oh, why?
I
The
mentioned
legacy
it
of
earlier.
Nia Jax.
Another con for me before we move on. I mentioned this earlier, but this whole Bianca with this fangirl crap, I don't want to see that. I want to see badass ready to kick some ass. Let's use what got you to the show. Let's not change it up now.
Oh, Lord.
Anyway, you guys have any more cons before we move on?
Nope.
Impact for me. Tommy Dreamer.
Hold on, let me record this. Let me get a sound bite here.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Sam.
something.
So it was totally Impact for me. Tommy Dreamer versus Rich Swann coming up at No Surrender. Lame. What a title match. I get that they're trying to do some nostalgia there with Tommy Dreamer and him giving his title shot to Terry Funk back in the day. And now that Tommy Dreamer is the 50-year-old man, it's come full circle. It's so fucking lame. Oh, my God. Like, that does not make you want to tune into that pay-per-view. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. And they need to be consistent with their booking right now.
What's the name of this pay-per-view coming up, Sonny, for Impact?
No Surrender?
Okay, and the last one that they had was Hard to Watch,
Hard to watch.
Yes.
Hard to Kill. So, how do you say watch in Spanish? Because that's going to be the name of this one coming up. Instead of No Surrender, it's going to say No Watcho
Well, that's the thing with their pay-per-views. They're really dropping the ball as of late. And I'm not liking it. It's not consistent. This is why people don't like Impact.
And you pony up $40 for every pay-per-view that they have too. And I give you all the credit in the world for that, because I don't think I could ever spend $40 on anything for Impact. Even though they've been doing some better stuff. It's crazy. Like that you're a very dedicated Impact fan, Sonny.
Real
Yeah,
quick,
I'm glutton for punishment.
Kenny Dunn says that Triple H interrupted Stephanie Test wedding was the best. I agree. That was great. Mike Loving says my con was weekend's halftime show from the Super Bowl. What the fuck are you talking about, Mike? They got to do
Everybody
wrestling.
walked around with underwear on their head, man. It looked like they had like the tights, on their head going around.
Lyndon Childers, Sonny, says it should be Rich Swann versus Moose.
It's going to happen. They're going to consolidate those titles.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Moose is still walking around the TNA champ. He's somewhat delusional. And
Aren't we
it's
all?
pretty bad.
I've been telling myself for 10 years that the WWE is going to get better.
Right?
All right, let's talk about some pros, guys. I'm been very vocal in the past about not really enjoying a lot of women's wrestling. So when I see something I really enjoy, I like to highlight it. I really enjoyed the Thunder Rosa Britt Baker match last week on Dynamite. I thought that was a really good match. Good storytelling. What's the matter, Tommy? You look perplexed.
That was mine.
Sorry, buddy.
Sorry.
You're not as dumb as I thought you was.
Thank you.
You definitely ain't as dumb as I look. But yeah, that match, it made me want to see more from these two.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not over. Not by a long shot.
Not by a long shot. Tommy says, I stole yours. What else you got out there, buddy?
I thought Daniel Bryan Cesaro had a good match Friday night.
Yeah, they did. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
John, are you going to jump on our bandwagon and choose a match, or is there something else out there you want to highlight?
I'll throw something else out. Even though I did not like the person that kind of came over to do it for the invasion, I understand it, but I wasn't a big fan of this person and them botching their move at the end of this as well. But it is a pro, though, for me to see New Japan over in AEW. So AEW, Impact, New Japan all together, like that's pretty cool stuff. And how many wrestling fans would have thought they would have seen promotions like this working together? WWE didn't want to work with basically anybody unless they were small time. And it's kind of cool to see. I don't like Kenta being the person. I believe that's what he's going by now, Kenta. I think he's a lame duck character for New Japan. I know some people love his work. I'm not a big fan. He totally botched the go to sleep, and it looked just corny as hell. But I do like New Japan coming over. I think it's awesome. And I'd like to say go back on and listen to some of my old shows, because I called it last year that they would come over. And I'm glad to see that they came over, because if they all combine, they could do some damage. Get Ring of Honor in there now, and let's see what happens.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of us really had an inclination this was going to happen back with the first All In.
Yep.
When they sold out Madison Square Garden. I think that was kind of a look to the future to say, hey, WWE, here we are. We got a voice, god dang it. Lyndon Childers says, leave Kenta alone, damn it. It was just pro, even though he turned it into a con, Lyndon.
Yeah.
My pro was the New Japan one. My con part of it was the fact I get that they were working a feud because Moxley's held that belt, the New Japan Wrestling U.S. title or something, is whatever it is. But
Mm-hmm.
I know that's part of the angle, and that's the reason why. But Kenta is so underwhelming to me in many ways. So that's why
That's because
I
you
didn't
don't
really
see Kenta. You see Hideo Itami
Koda,
or whatever.
or that was the name Otami or Kota Ibushi.
The
What was his name?
Hideo Itami. That's what it was.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
gotcha. I mean, I'm still getting
Well,
up
and
to
I-
date with New Japan, but yeah, he sucked in WWE.
Well, he thought that he sucked.
Well-
He just didn't get good booking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he didn't
I
use
think
him right
too,
there.
no, they didn't at all. But I think too, I think that's the benefit of having the Impact partnership with All Elite. That's a payoff for them because New Japan has not been happy with All Elite, taking all the talent and leaving. And I think because we know Impact and New Japan has always had a working relationship, I think that helped bring them to the table.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they have new management at New Japan, so that's kind of cool. I think I read this somewhere. I can't remember where I read it at. But the reason Kenta's getting the nod with AEW right now is because Kenta is living in Florida right now. So due to the traveling situation, it's easy for him to do what he's got to do.
And plus, they could push that Hulu stuff that they're getting ready to do too.
No hoo-ha pushing, just holes.
Dear
Something
God.
else. Something else. You know, I mentioned it earlier a little bit. I think it was Lyndon Childress in the chat was going to get my ass. Roman's mic work. You know, up until SmackDown Friday night, I didn't care who Edge wrestled at Mania. I just was happy to see Edge wrestle. Now I want to see Edge kick Roman Reigns' ass.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully we
Roman
get that.
delivered the promo he should have on Friday.
Did you
That's
guys
exactly
see,
what that character needed.
Oh my God! Did you guys see Paul Heyman when Roman Reigns raised his voice? Go back and watch it if you guys didn't really pay attention. Paul Heyman looked like he was terrified for his life. It was great.
Yep. They play so well off each other.
And
Now,
it's going to
having
make it
said
into a
that-
great feud. Yeah, but it's going to make it into a great feud when Lesnar comes back too.
Oh, absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
going to be money right there.
One of my
See-
pros this week was definitely watching Edge on NXT. Finn Balor versus Pete Dunne. Love both of those guys. Personally, that's where I want to see Edge.
Since you went ahead and brought it up NXT, Sonny, I'll go ahead and let the Ramblers at home know what's going on this weekend. The Royal Rumble. We did a post show. We went live right after the show went off the air, and we're doing it again this weekend, guys. NXT Vengeance Day, Sunday, February 14th. As soon as the show's over, we're going live here on the Royal Ramble to discuss. And I'm excited because I'm not a avid watcher of NXT, but I'm excited to watch the show and then get on here and hopefully have Lyndon and Kenny and even Derek Jones in the chat telling me why I'm so wrong.
Right. I think the last time I watched NXT was War Games. I thought their War Games was real interesting.
They always have a good takeover.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't think there's ever been a bad takeover.
Mm-hmm.
No. Speaking of NXT, I'll go ahead and throw a pro out I have from last week. It's something so simple. I got a fact check now. Kenny Dunn said he thought it was the 13th. I thought it was the 14th. Is it the 13th?
I think it's the 14th.
I thought it was the
too.
14th.
I'll look anyway. I'll look here in a minute. I'll let you guys throw some pros out. Timothy Thatcher and Adam Cole using the tag rope in the tag match. You never see wrestlers do that anymore. To see them physically hold the tag rope in a tag match, you know, something so great, something so simple as that is great for me. Rules mean something, damn it. I don't care what Aubrey Edwards says.
That's
I got to
Cody
throw a
Green.
good pro out too. A good pro is former WWE superstar extraordinaire. You know, he was a former champion. Rob Gronkowski scored 2 touchdowns in the Super Bowl to help the New England Patriots beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Way to go, Gronk.
New England Patriots.
Oh, I'm sorry, the Tampa Bay Bucks. I'm sorry. I was used to what I saw forever.
That's my homeland.
That was my only way to get some
Not
football in
here.
this week because I know John slapped Michael earlier for talking football earlier. But, yep, congrats to Gronk and the Bucks and all them.
Back where he should be, not in the ring.
Oh, yeah.
I just like to bust Michael Loving's balls. It's so easy to do.
Just don't roll him up.
Don't roll him up. Yeah, heavens no, we've been there and tried that before. I ain't got to worry about rolling nobody up, Tommy. I'm the champ, and due to COVID-19, I got to stay in my safe space, and I'm not permitted to have to defend this title right now because of COVID-19. That means I'm safe.
You're a millennial now. You got safe space.
That's exactly right. The last pro I had for the week was Nia Jax screaming about her hole. We done touched on that. It was so funny because I was watching it, and honestly, the match sucked. It's Lana. I talked about overselling earlier. She's horrible. She just looks like a little kid, just getting annihilated in there. The way she cries and whimpers, and I was watching the match, and then she did the leg drop and stumbled over and started screaming. At first, I heard how obnoxious Nia's scream was, and I was like, "Huh, that's different." And then I thought I heard her say "my hole," and I was like, "No, she didn't say that."
Yeah,
so I played it back, and sure enough, she did.
I do got to give Lana credit. I think she protected herself pretty good during that match with the power bombs and stuff, the way she flat backed and stuff. I think she did pretty good protecting herself on the moves.
Sure, as far as technique is in getting her ass whooped, sure. Just the facials is a little bit too much for me, but that's just
right. But 6 months ago, you wouldn't see that.
Yes, I just used Lana and facials in the same sentence, Tommy. And Nia's hole, all in the same paragraph.
Oh my gosh!
Oh God!
Kenny does talk about me in the chat. He says, "JCC, your favorite wrestler is Shawn Michaels, and he is the king of the oversell." Oh, he remembered that Shawn's my favorite wrestler. Oh, thanks, Kenny.
Wow.
Yeah, but
he's just a sexy boy to you, right, John?
What's that?
He's just a sexy boy to you.
That's all he is to me.
Yeah, just a sexy.
Not a boy toy or nothing.
Yeah.
I used to take a marker when I was in school, and I would draw the Shawn Michaels tattoo on my arm. I thought I was the coolest son of a bitch on this side of the Mississippi.
And what age did you lose your virginity at, John?
Michael Mann says Lana covered her hole in that match.
She did.
She did. Definitely did.
She was good.
Mike Loving, he must be popping in and out. He said, "What did you all think of the wedding last week on AEW?" I'll tell you what. You want to know what we thought of the wedding, Mike? Listen to the replay or check us out on the podcast here in a couple of days because we done talked about it and you missed it, sucker.
You too.
Suckers got to know, though.
Suckers do got to know. Any more pros out there, friends?
He's a sucker.
I liked Trey Miguel on Impact cut a promo since returning.
That was the NXT reject, right?
Yeah. I'm going to say he's not a reject because he said he turned it down. It was more important to him to be at his wrestling school and be close to family. But he went out there.
I was just you, Sonny. That's all. I was wanting. I know. I was just wanting to word that to talk shit.
Oh, for sure. But he is showing some heel tendencies right now. He called the other two that are in NXT his crutches. And he says that he wants to show everybody how he can walk on his own. Now, Sami Callihan came out and interrupted him. Sami Callihan, of course, has been Impact for quite some time. He questioned his loyalty and says, "You're not loyal, and no one in the locker room trusts you." So this is going to be an interesting build for Trey Miguel, and to see him on his own, and what's he going to do?
Hey, Lyndon has your back here in the chat, Sonny. He's all over me. He's like, no, he turned down the offer.
Yeah, see?
I know, Lyndon. I'm just ribbing Sonny here. Give me a break.
But I thought it was really clever how they even talked about his lack of passion in that promo. It was a nice little shot at Triple H, and I thought, good for you. Do it.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy, does anything else make you happy about wrestling this past week?
I'm a little bit excited about the Elimination Chamber.
That almost made my con list. I was all for it until they threw Sheamus and The Miz in there. You know, why not throw a Keith Lee or a Matt Riddle or hell, a Bobby Lashley or so many talents they could have put in there besides Sheamus and The Miz. Which I know their big thing is they're all former champions. Get the hell out of here with that shit.
Yeah.
You gotta have somebody to beat up.
Speaking of beating up, did you hear Nia Jax talking about her hole? Was that too much, Tommy? Was that too much? John,
Dear
you got
God.
more pros, buddy?
Nah, man, I'm good.
Sonny, you got any more?
I just really liked when Riddle was talking about getting inspiration from Air Bud and watching all those movies. Made me laugh
so
my
high.
ass right
He was
off.
so stoned.
He was so high, and it was so great and so funny. Air Bud, really?
You know what I thought of when he was talking about that? Do you remember, excuse me, do you remember Jim Brewer in Half Baked when he's explaining?
Oh,
Yeah.
tremendous.
Yes.
Before you understand how Buddy the dog died, man, you gotta understand who
Yeah.
Buddy the dog was. That's what that reminded me of.
Yeah. And I think if they keep booking him that way, like with his promos and stuff, it won't come off as really over the top and cheesy. That was really good.
Sorry, guys. I'm reading the comments here. Kenny Dunn says Loving's talking shit, trying to get a shot at the strap again. He did. He said, "I challenge Roscoe to a Falls Count Anywhere." What? Falls Count Anywhere in a bowling alley match for #1 contender for John's COVID-19 belt.
Man, I've already whipped you in the bowling alley like 9 months ago. I whipped you.
Maybe he wants redemption.
Yeah, whipped him, crawled back to his wife, and asked his son for tips. That's like 8 years old or something like that.
Next week here on the Royal Ramble, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be discussing who was the greatest valet or female manager of all time. That should be a fun conversation. This is not going to take a lot of racking my brain for me, but it should be interesting nonetheless. And once
Great
again,
pick.
before we get out of here, guys, this weekend, immediately after NXT TakeOver, we will be here live. Live here on the Royal Ramble. And if you're listening in the podcast or on YouTube, this show will not be posted to YouTube or the podcast. So if you guys want to listen, catching us on Facebook Live will be the only way to do so. But anyway, a few of the matches that's going to be going on this weekend: Io Shirai versus Toni Storm versus Mercedes Martinez in the NXT Women's Championship match. Johnny Gargano versus Kushida in an NXT North American Championship match. That match is going to be amazing. You also had the finals of the Dusty Rhodes Classic for the men's and the women's. And then you have Finn Balor versus Pete Dunne for the NXT Championship. Only thing that bothers me on the surface of looking at that card is there's no Karrion Kross. I don't understand that.
Where's Adam Cole Bebe right now? What's he doing?
He just lost the tag match. He's out of he's out of the Dusty Rhodes tournament. So,
okay. So no undisputed there except at all on here, huh?
Yeah, no. I mean, I don't, that's they still have this week, tomorrow night to make a couple more matches, and they may. I know the 30-minute kickoff. The show starts at 7, so the kickoff starts at 6:30. So they may have some kind of match at 6:30, but it's just baffling to me. You don't have Karrion Kross on the card right now. You don't have the Undisputed Era on the card right now. So, Lyndon Schilder says Thatcher and Ciampa will win it all. Lyndon, I think you're right. I don't even watch NXT that much, and just after watching last week, I could see that's kind of where they were at. Lyndon also says Dakota and Raquel will win the women's. Probably. Hopefully they swerve us a little bit because, like I said last week, I watched for the first time in a long time, and those were the two tag teams that stood out in the matches. So if they do not win, I'll be surprised. But Sonny, how often do you get to watch NXT?
I've been really slack on it as of late, just because I find All Elite takes that time slot for me, and I am that much of a mark. I watch all my shows live. So NXT also does not air in that 8 o'clock time slot in Canada anymore. It used to air and compete on the network, but they moved it to the Sportsnet. So we don't even get the NXT till the weekend. And there's no buy-in to watch because you've already seen everything that's happened online or in replays. So there's no buy-in, and it sucks.
That's the hardest
They killed
thing
it
for
up
me.
there.
That's the hardest thing for me is because, even it's a little different scenario, but, you got NXT and Dynamite on here at the same time in the States. And I've tried to watch one, record one, watch the other one the next day or the day after. But hell, you got to stay off the internet because if not, you're going to know exactly what happens before you even watch a damn show.
Yeah.
That does ruin it.
What about you, Tommy? Are you an NXT connoisseur?
NXT, I have nothing wrong with NXT. I've been to an NXT show before, but I mean, I think they got good guys there.
They've always had good talent for sure.
Yeah.
Lennon Childer says also New Japan will be available on the Roku starting February 11th.
Oh, smart.
I still haven't heard anything about Peacock coming over to the Amazon streaming devices, so hopefully they get that figured out. They got a little over a month before the WWE Network switches over. I'm going to be lucky. I can use my son's PlayStation 4 to watch Peacock, but you might potentially WWE. You might potentially lose some viewers out there if you don't get your shit together.
Somebody's going to have to help me try to figure that out. Peacock's got me all confused, buddy. I'm a rooster. I don't know nothing about peacocks.
Peacocks. No, I ain't even going there. I ain't going to do that.
Yeah.
Either way, guys, next week, once again, we're going to be discussing who's the greatest valet female manager of all time. Tommy, before we go, you got any final thoughts, buddy?
Well, I'm going to sound excited this week. I'm glad to be here, get to see all your smiling faces. Better than last week. Excitement.
Last week, he was like, you sound like Ben Stein. I'm glad to be here. Nice to see you guys. For dry red eyes.
For dry red eyes. Use clear eyes. No, I'm always glad to see you guys and get to see you guys on the chat. And Mike Levin, if you want a rematch in bowling, you got it.
Hold on. I can have y'all's little match, but it ain't for the #1 contendership here. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh, shoot. Man, come on.
I'm in quarantine. This belt is in quarantine right now, pal.
All right,
Sonny, you got any final thoughts?
I'm looking forward to Vengeance Day. The main event for me, I'm all in. I love Pete Dunne. I love Finn Balor. Who do you go with there? I don't know. That's the kind of match that draws me in.
I hadn't seen Pete Dunne in a while. I had never seen him in his street clothes or anything, and it just totally caught me off guard when I seen him last week. I was like, "Who's this bad son of a bitch?"
He's totally gotten in shape over the last year or so.
Mm-hmm.
Mr.
Looks
Langley,
amazing.
You got any final thoughts, my dude?
Yeah, I just want to tell everybody thanks. Another great week. Had a blast doing it. If you guys want some more wrestling talk, some more things going on, go check out our podcast, Cheap Heat and Cheap Pops. You're getting 5 to 6 shows a week. Nostalgic WCW stuff. You're getting the current stuff with Impact Wrestling, AEW, WWE. Get a little of everything over on our channel, Cheap Heat and Cheap Pops podcast. And please, on Facebook, go ahead and like our page over there because we live stream 3 to 5 times a week now over there as well. They are later at night for the Night Owls, 11:30, 11:45 that we do them, but you can catch them on replay. We have a lot of fun over there, and it's a lot of the material that we put on the podcast. So go and check it out. It's still under, unfortunately, our old name until Facebook changes it over, and it's Wrestling with Reality. Check it out. Follow it, please. And the podcast name is Cheap Heat and Cheap Pop. So check them out, guys. Lots of wrestling talk on there.
Cheap Heat, Cheap Pop, Cheap Whores, Cheap Holes,
Cheap whiskey.
cheap whiskey, cheap for Tommy.
Is it Fauna? How you say it? Fango? What's cheap soda? Cheap pop. Fango?
Fago?
Is that what it's called? Yeah.
Fago?
What'd you call it, Tommy?
We're drinking the Juggalos?
Yeah. Fango or Babuo or hell, I don't know.
I'm just happy to be here, guys. I'll be Uncle Bel Air Jr. over there. All right, guys, had a lot of fun this week. Sonny Salem, Tommy Thomason, John Wayland. I'm John Covey Cole. We'll see you guys Sunday night after Vengeance Day, NXT TakeOver. Till then, ramble on.
Ramble on.